Before the closed-door meetings and high-stakes strategy sessions in the most powerful land in the world, Capitol Hill, there was another life. There were the 90s hip-hop clubs like the Epic Tunnel in New York City, late-night studio sessions, concerts, and adventures that stretched from Atlanta, Philly, Miami, LA, and Cancun to the biggest boxing matches in Vegas. My girls and I lived it all. Welcome to From the Tunnel to the Hill with Allison Zayas. My guest today is the lovely Jet Dilone. We've been friends for about 30 years now, and we've been through a lot, ups and downs and fun times, and we've partied all over the world. And I'm just happy, so happy that you're here to join me today.
Well, I am honored to be part of this incredible show that you are starting, and I'm happy that I'm one of your first guests.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
So, a little bit about me. I was born at Mount Sinai here in Harlem and initially raised by my mother. And my parents divorced early on. And my mother had, unfortunately, a drug habit. Because of that, my dad kidnapped me and I was brought to Brooklyn. So, I am a Brooklyn girl. I grew up in Brooklyn and my life story starts there. I met Jeanette when I was, I'd say, early 20s. Is that right, Jeanette?
Yes.
And you remember more how we met, if you want to share that story.
We met in the beginning through a mutual friend, Natasha. Natasha was working, me and Natasha were working at this amazing place in the 90s, and I was bartending there, and she had mentioned to me that she had this girlfriend that I really should meet. And we pretty much, from the very beginning, we hit it off instantly. I think we kind of like left Natasha out after that. Like me and you became really close. And yeah, the rest is history.
That is true. And
Here we
rest in
are.
peace, Natasha.
Rest in peace to Natasha. God bless her soul.
So, one of the things that was so great and epic about the 1990s, early 90s was the Tunnel nightclub. You came into my life towards, I believe, the end of that, but we both have our own tunnel stories. So, I guess I'll let you start with one.
Okay, I have my story. I'm going to incorporate like two stories in one because I end up at the tunnel. So there was this particular night. I'm getting ready, getting dressed to go out and meet some friends at the tunnel. And I go outside from maybe a few blocks away from my building to go wait for a cab. As I'm standing there waiting for a cab, this truck comes in front of me. I want to say it was a Range Rover or something from back in the day. It was a beautiful big truck, and I could see through the windows who it was, but I think he didn't know that I recognized him. He was like, "Oh, do you know who such and such is?" He was looking for a friend of Dard. You know who Dard is, right? He was looking for Dard. And I was like, "Oh yeah, I know where Dard lives at." Of course, I would tell the guy that's asking me this because I know who the guy is. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm looking for Dard. I need to get something for him, and then I have to go back home." And I was like, "Okay." So as I'm about to go into my cab, the guy jumps out of the car. Now I could see his full body because at first I was like, maybe that's not him. So it was Bobby Brown. Bobby Brown was in Harlem in the 90s looking for Dard, and I'm on my way to the tunnel. The only reason I'm saying this story this way is because that was pretty much like one of those, what we would call regular days for me, where I'm just running into random iconic people. And this was around the time where like Bobby Brown was married to Whitney. They had a baby already because there was a baby seat in the back of the truck. So after that little incident, I was like, "Oh my God, I just met Bobby Brown." But that was the weirdest, craziest interaction because he was acting as if he didn't know that I knew who he was, but I knew it was him. So now I get in a cab and I'm heading down to the tunnel. And on this particular night, I really was hesitant to want to go. This was one of the reasons why I didn't like going to the tunnel back in the day because it was always a huge line that would wrap around the blocks just to get into the tunnel. on Sunday nights. So I was going to meet, I believe it was Natasha and this other lady. I don't remember her name right now. So I was going to meet her. And she was like, "Oh, don't worry. You don't have to worry about nothing. I'm going to make sure you get in. It's going to be a smooth entrance." And I was like, "You sure, Natasha? I don't feel like standing outside because it's usually very cold. And you have to wait a long time to get into the tunnel unless you're like VIP or you're with someone or a celebrity." So I get down there. She was right. I didn't have to wait a long time. And I saw Jessica Rosenblum. She was one of the promoters of the tunnel back then. And I pretty much got in, not right away, because I had to go through the whole security process, which was one of the most uncomfortable things for me. I really didn't like. That's another reason why I didn't
It
like the
never bothered
tunnel.
me at all.
I did not like being touched, frisked. I felt like I was going to visit someone at Rikers Island.
I was the
It was,
opposite. I was always so concerned about fights and shootings that I was like, "Yes, pat me down and pat everyone down to their feet because I wanna go home tonight."
oh my God. I definitely didn't like being frisked like that. I felt like I was going to visit someone that was in jail. But nevertheless, once I was inside, it was definitely one of the most unbelievable places to be at that age, in that era. The sound, the music, hip hop was becoming really big at the time, and all these iconic, rappers were coming up. So like this night, I go inside and I see Natasha. I run to her, and she's already at the bar. And who's she standing next to at the bar? Tupac Shakur. Tupac is standing there and he has like a whole roll of like crystal bottles. And she was like, "Come over here." So you know how usually what happens next? There's a glass of champagne in my hand, and boom, the night starts. And that's one of my most memorable, most fun nights inside of the tunnel. I don't remember who performed, but there was a performance. I would have to go back and look that up somehow and figure out who performed that night. But the tunnel
Tunnel was
also
epic.
had like, huh?
Tunnel was epic.
Yeah,
I Yeah, go
I also want to express how like when you would walk into the tunnel, it was like wall to wall. It was just wall, sea of people, and there was so many rooms, like separate rooms throughout the tunnel. You remember that?
I don't
Like you
remember
could
a lot
actually
of
walk into a
rooms.
room and that was like a little VIP
I
section,
remember
sort of.
maybe, yeah, one, but then I mean, it's 30 years, so there may have been
Yeah.
more,
And
but
then they had the bathrooms. The
the
bathrooms
unisex
were,
bathrooms.
and I remember that on, I don't know if it was this particular night, but this was another thing about the tunnel that was always like very memorable for me. And I just would be like, why do they have us using the bathroom at the same times with the guys? But there was one night where I went into the bathroom and the entire Wu-Tang Clan was inside of the bathroom. And it smelled like weed. It was just crazy. All the smoke.
I always thought the
And I'm like,
bathroom thing
what the
was
hell? I'm
cool. The
supposed to use the
unisex
bathroom.
bathroom, I thought was cool because guys would never foul in there, I think probably security was there or whatever, but it was never an issue. But, I have a few tunnel stories. I think one that's really nice is my cousin Jeannie loved her some LL Cool J, okay?
Mm.
I loved LL, but not on the level that she did, and LL was gonna be at the tunnel. I don't know why. I don't know if it was his birthday or he was performing or what. And she regularly didn't hang out with me. And I called her up and I said, Jeannie, LL is gonna be at the tunnel. She's like, I'm going. So she gets dressed and she goes to hang out with me and my two girlfriends who were always in the tunnel or running around. And we go to the tunnel and LL is there and she's so nervous, like our hands are getting clammed up, and she's just like, "Oh my God, it's LL." And I'm like, chill, because at that point, how many celebrities I had met? Like a million. A
Hmm.
it wasn't even like that. But
LL
anyway,
was
so
still
I
the
go to him.
finest.
I mean,
He was fine.
back to
We're gonna
LL,
give
I
him his
remember riding up
flowers.
the
We're gonna give him his
B41.
flowers.
Yes, going up the B41 on Flatbush Avenue, knowing every word to his song, "I Want You." I
Oh
don't know
my
if you remember
God.
that
Yes.
song back then. That's how much I I liked LL. But so anyway, so we get to the club and I'm like, "Are you gonna talk to him? Are you gonna say something?" She's like, "No, no." So I go up to him and I'm like pulling her and I'm like, "This is my cousin Jeannie. She is your biggest fan, your biggest fan." And he was so nice about it. He was like, "Oh, okay." And then I kind of walked away and didn't realize they exchanged numbers.
Oh, wow.
So,
Go Genie.
yes, go Jeannie.
Go girl.
So she exchanged numbers with him, and she partied and probably was the night of her life, right?
Mhm.
And he behaved. He was a gentleman. I think he might have even been married at that time. So there was nothing crazy, nothing disrespectful. And we left. And then it was like a few days later, she calls me up. She's like, "You're not going to believe who called me. LL Cool J." And I was like, "What?"
Wow.
She said, "He called me and he said, hi, can I speak to Jeannie?" And he called a house phone, right? We're talking back way back in the 90s. And
Mm,
somebody was like,
those
"Jeannie, the
house calls were
phone."
the best.
And she came to the phone and basically LL was like, "Hi, just wanted to tell you it was nice meeting you and I wish you the best and you take care." And they hung up and she never heard from him again. But just the heart it takes to know that someone's such a big fan that I'm going to give them a quick hello call.
Mm.
Nothing disrespectful, nothing crazy. Just, "Hey, um, thank you for being my biggest fan." And of course, she still is his biggest fan. So he got himself a lifelong biggest fan from just being nice.
That's an amazing story.
And then the other stories I have is just
Genie.
my girl Peggy and my girl Angela, three of us. We were just always in there, and we were there with Puffy was in there, or I saw Snoop Doggy Dogg there. Just so many rappers were always in there, and it was just crazy. Like it was always cold. I guess we were going in the winter, and getting your coat out of coat check was always crazy. Trying to get a drink was crazy, and whenever we would meet a guy, and they'd be like, they want to take me out or take them out, they'd be like, "Okay, Sunday, meet me at the tunnel." And they would meet me, and then they would have to, buy a bottle, and we'd have a good time. And I never it got crowded and hot. I was never that dance floor girl. You're not coming up to me and saying, "Do you
I
want to
was just
dance?"
gonna mention something
I
about
was
the
gonna
dance floor.
say, "Do you want to dance?" I'm like, "No." I was the girl at the bar with a glass of champagne or a drink doing my little two-step. I did not want to go and sweat out my hair and be in the middle of the dance floor, but I was always nice, really nice with people. I was never like a disrespectful user type of chick. That just wasn't me. That's not my upbringing, but I would always be at the bar. And one not so nice, and I won't say his name. I had a friend of mine one time and we were all hanging out and he got jumped.
Mm.
Friend from Queens, and they snatched his chain.
Do I know him?
And yes,
Okay.
yes. And they
That's
snatched his chain. He fell to the
They
floor.
were famous for snatching chains back
Yeah.
in the day and
It was
your door
horrible.
knockers, jewelry, like the
And yeah,
Decepticons from Brooklyn.
is that
I have a
oh,
story about them.
okay? Well, so he got jumped. They took his chain, and we're like, "Oh no, no, oh no," And then he got up, and
Oh my God.
it is what it is. That was the tunnel days.
Wow. I want to touch a little bit on the dance floor scene. So the other thing that was beautiful about that time and that era is there was these group of kids. They were almost at every hip hop party that I would ever go to. And they were known for being in the middle of the floor, and they were famous for that. There were times where I would go and do a little dance and then come away from it. Cuz although I was like that glam girl, but I still had a lot of, you know, dance in me. I like to dance. I didn't mind
I
dancing.
know that about you. Whenever we go
Yeah.
out, you're the one on the
I'm the
dance
first
floor,
one that's dancing,
woo,
yeah.
and
But
I'm
I,
there
you
with
know, I'm
my
not gonna
drink.
do dance the whole night, but I definitely have that in me. And that's a very memorable moment because those dancers there, a lot of them ended up in a Michael Jackson video. Like that's how good they were. And they were from, the project. Like we were all coming up from housing projects. That was like our getaway. On Sunday became a whole movie night for
Mecca.
us.
It was
It was
Mecca.
like a movie.
It
Tonight
was a
we're going to the
moment.
tunnel. We're gonna get dressed up.
It
The
was just
outfits were
fly.
fly. The energy was everything about the energy was just like we all wanted to get inside of the tunnel. It was something special about it. Although there were stuff about danger, people getting robbed and there were fights. But at the end of the day, when we did have a great time, it was a really great time. And it was like our upper echelons moment for that night. Because we're mixing with some really wealthy people at the time as well. It wasn't just a hood crowd. It was a mixture of that. You had the big, listen, you have to put it out there. You had those really wealthy upper echelons drug dealers. I'm gonna call them upper echelons because they were rich. I mean, really rich.
They
For
really
me,
were.
they were rich
They
at the
really
time.
were. I don't even know what bottles costed at the time. It was
I mean, I was
three, four
drinking
hundred dollars a
Cristal
bottle,
every
and it
time
was
I
just
went. I mean, Cristal was how much back then? We never even knew the price of that. And the men were different back then. It wasn't about us buying. If we even attempted to buy our own stuff, they would be like, "Whoa, you don't have to do that. We got you."
yeah. It was definitely
I
drug deal essential.
It was definitely drug deal essential, and I fucking loved it. Shout out to all the fabulous, super upper echelon drug dealers.
No, no,
No?
no.
Okay, sorry.
But so I want to
Yeah.
share a story. So I started dating Puff in the 90s, and I had an entirely different experience from what's going on now. So let me just preface it with that. Um, the Puff I knew was nice, fun, up and coming, and we had great times. And you also partied with me and Puff. So I remember being in the tunnel, and when they would play like "Who Shot Ya" or "Total" or "Biggie" or
Mary J.
Craig Mack,
Blige,
or
Faith
it was
Evans,
just it would explode, and then I'd be
Uptown
like,
Music,
and it was great, and everyone was like, "Puffy, Puffy, Puffy," and then
The
I was
Bad
just
Boy
like,
Crew.
"Yep." I was with my girlfriends, and it would be like, "All right, I'll see you later," that kind of thing, and I went my way, and then we may hook up later on, but it was just a really fun, vibrant, epic time.
Yeah, it was really special because we got to experience things for the first time as it was happening and making history for the first time. Everything about Diddy back then is a historical moment. He broke into the music industry and pretty much changed the trajectory of what that was at the time. He brought his taste into it.
He was
Again,
revolutionary. I mean, he would
yeah,
just plan events, like anyone who knows about Cancun.
marketing genius. Yeah,
Cancun was amazing. I went 3 years. It started to go downhill, so the 3rd year I was like, "It's my last year," because too many people tried started finding out about it. But Cancun was amazing. I mean, who at that age puts together an international trip and has hundreds, if not thousands, of people
and all the
transcend on
iconic legends of today right
Cancun?
now
I remember sitting there, and
in
Jay-Z was
Cancun.
there. Was it Shaquille O'Neal, I think was there? I'm not
Everybody,
sure.
everybody
But
that was somebody was there
Luke,
at the time. Every basketball player,
everybody.
every hip hop artist.
Cancun was amazing.
Jay
I
Z
have
was up and coming at the
some
time.
pictures
They
put
were
up,
there. Damon Dash,
and it was Jay Black, and
Foxy Brown,
it was
Gavin,
DMX. I remember hanging with DMX out there,
all
and
the
Puff would
sexy
have.
people from Brooklyn, all the sexy people from Harlem. It was like a Queens,
And was
Brooklyn,
it Kid
Harlem.
Capri that had Daddy-O that night?
I don't
I mean, it
remember.
was just the most epic nightclub time ever. Everyone partying,
Shout out
everyone
to
had
Kid
fun.
Capri. You're one of the best DJs to ever do it.
Yes.
Hmm.
And of course, Flex. We can't leave out Flex. I mean,
Shout out to
we were in the
Funk
tunnel.
Master
Sorry, Flex.
Flex. He used to
And
be on
Red
the tunnel,
Alert.
right? He was the
Oh,
tunnel DJ.
and Red Alert. Oh, just and Clark Kent. Clark Kent, who became a friend. Rest in peace, Clark Kent. He used to come actually when I was in Capitol Hill, and do the Hip Hop on the Hill events. I mean,
And for
just
those who
amazing.
don't know who Red Alert is, Red Alert
And
used
Clue,
to host Hot 97, and
DJ
he
in
would
there.
do I feel like he would host on the night of the tunnel, right? And
I
lead
don't want
up
to
to
say that.
that,
I'm not
like
sure.
tonight's the tunnel.
Get everybody hyped.
Like tonight's gonna be the tunnel. You guys are going. I don't know if it was that or some other club, but I remember Red Alert.
He was hot.
He was
DJ.
our go-to person for what's going on tonight. Chaz and Wilson's back in the day, the Bentleys. Studio was it Studio
I left out
54?
DJ Clue. I got to put that one in. He was hot back then
Red
too. He was a
Zone.
friend. I didn't party in all those clubs you did. Chaz and Wilson's, yes,
Yes,
that
you
was the spot.
did.
Red Zone, I don't think I've ever been to. Like
Where
Red
did they
Zone,
have those
Latin
black tie
Quarters.
parties? Where were the Copacabana?
Palladium was hot.
The Palladium was
How
off the
about the
chain.
night?
Yes,
Yes.
the Palladium. I have a story about the Palladium.
Okay, I have one too. You go first.
I saw one night. Um, I didn't know you yet, so this is before I met you. I was going there. I went there by myself, but I knew I would have friends there when I got there. So I'm going to the Palladium, and as I'm entering the Palladium, there's a car sitting outside. I want to say it was definitely a hot car because Diddy was driving it, and
Wow.
Biggie was in the passenger seat. So it was probably Don't quote me. It was definitely a black sexy car. I don't know if it was a Mercedes or a Porsche. I don't know. But they're outside, and then Diddy jumps out to say hi to me, and he's like, "Oh, let me introduce you to Big." I had never met him yet. So I'm standing there wearing this satin mini dress with like rhinestone straps. My hair is wild and curly. And Biggie's like, "Oh my God, who's this Amazon girl?" And Puff is like, "Oh, this is Jeanette." You know, that was my name. He's like, "This is Jeanette. This is Biggie." And then he gets out to give me a hug. He was like, "Oh my God, you're so hot." And then he was like, "Where are you from?" And then I was like, "I'm Dominican." He goes, "What? You're the hottest Dominican I ever seen." Allison, when I tell you, that made my entire night and my whole week. I was like, "Oh my God, Biggie Smalls said I was the hottest Dominican he's ever met." So, anyways, I go into the club and they performed. It was Biggie Smalls, Jay-Z, I want to say Little Kim, Foxy Brown.
I don't know how many nights they performed there, but I was there one night when
Maybe we
Puff
were
was
there the
on
same night.
stage, Biggie was on stage.
Yeah,
I
they
was
were
with
all
one of
on
my best
stage.
friends who was like 6 months pregnant, and at that time I was talking to Puff, so we got in and, we were good after, and it was such a great night. It was such a vibrant, energetic, adrenaline pumping,
Amazing.
time to have Biggie on stage, and it's so
Amazing
tragic that we
times.
can't have that anymore. We don't have that. I don't remember if Jay-Z was on stage, but Jay-Z is always phenomenal.
Yeah, I saw Jay-Z perform with Biggie.
With Biggie, my experience with
Wait,
him was a
was
couple
it with
times.
him, Biggie, and no, it was him and Foxy Brown for sure. I
I'm not
cannot
sure.
remember right now, but that's my night. I don't know if you were there on the same
Yeah,
night.
I don't know how many nights they did that, but, I
It
mean,
was
let's just talk about the love I have for Little Kim and Foxy Brown. I mean, these were the original badass bitches. They really were. I mean, the Il Nana and I used to be scared of the shit.
oh
I'll
my
put it leave it
God.
at that. I mean, it's
I
just
mean, her first album cover when she came out was her legs are open and the crotch is there, and it's like, I used to be scared, and then the songs come
the
on
Il
and you make
Nana
this
and
reflection with the music and the fashion.
Foxy Brown and Little
Everybody
Kim was
fell in
just
love. Foxy Brown, I think I was more of a Little Kim fan than
I was more
Foxy
Little Kim
Brown
as well, but I
because
appreciated them both.
I didn't say this in the beginning, but back in the day, I was modeling and I was in some really iconic videos with Puff Daddy, Jay Z, Little Kim, a
Yeah,
lot of
I've
112. I did fashion shows.
I did a couple videos as well. I did one with Jodeci and Puff, and then
You know what? You have a great
Nice and Smooth,
story about that video.
Nice
I
and
want you to
Smooth
tell me
video.
about that.
So let's go back to Biggie. My experience with him was he was very nice, but it was very limited. I was in the studio with Puff, and he was sitting there with Charlie Baltimore. And I remember she
Oh,
was
wow.
sitting right next to him. She had red hair, and she was just not friendly, not rude, just sitting there quiet next to him. And I was like, "Oh, wow, that Biggie." I always had respect for him. I was a Brooklyn girl. I mean, Brooklyn at that time was crazy. We're talking about what, after Dinkins, and it was Giuliani, and crime was crazy out of control. Getting on the train was dangerous. Getting robbed was commonplace for a lot of people. I got assaulted on the train one time by a guy. So it was Brooklyn was crazy. New York was crazy. And those were the times. And then another time I met Big. And I wish I would have taken pictures. We took one picture with Big. So one time, Puff had a party in Atlanta,
Hmm.
and you went, I went, a girlfriend Jackie, and another girl. A bunch of us said, "Let's go to this party in Atlanta." I wish I could remember the club. And Biggie was there, and he was in a wheelchair. And I remember the club was banging. Atlanta was banging. It wasn't 112. It was another club. And we were dancing and, hanging out with Puff and them. And then a gentleman came over and took pictures of, I think it was me or us with Biggie. And at that time, remember, we didn't have cameras with phones. So I wasn't walking around with a camera. I wish I would have loved to have a picture with him.
Me
And
too.
then, the guy was like, "Okay, I'll send it to you." And then who knows what happened to that photographer. But do you remember that night? That was a
I
fun time.
remember that night very well. Also, yeah, we didn't care about pictures. We were living that life. It was like we were in it. We didn't need to go home and say, "Oh, let's look at how we looked the next day." We were there. So I think that was one of the reasons for me that I didn't walk around with a camera because we could have had a disposable camera, but we never had one.
Yeah, we really didn't.
I do remember it. My story is you called me up and was like, "You want to go to Atlanta for the weekend?" Is it was Diddy's birthday weekend?
I'm not even sure.
It was his
It was?
birthday weekend. It was Diddy's birthday weekend. He had Run DMC perform at the club that night.
Wow, I
It
don't even
was
remember that. You
amazing.
remember so much more than
He
that.
had Run DMC perform. We were all wearing black, sexy outfits. My outfit was from Limpaz,
Oh, we love
from the
Limpos, West
West
8th
8th
Street.
Street store. That's a very iconic
Yes.
store. We're gonna talk about that
The
later
best
on. I
fashions
feel
in New
like
York were from
we need to
Limpos.
bring that into the mix. We all would dress really fly. And even throughout the weekend, we went to the malls to shop.
Was it Lenox Hill?
Lenox Hill Mall. We were
Yeah,
shopping and we ran into Diddy and Kim Porter.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, we ran into Diddy and Kim Porter. And I remember specifically this because being that we were so like, you know, they called us the fly girls back then, the glam girls. And we were dressed really nice that day. We were shopping in the mall. And I think I was wearing a BB. We went inside of the BB store. BB was a store that all the hot girls, the young 20 something girls, were shopping. And they would, that iconic BB rhinestone t shirt that we all used to wear. And then they had another section with a little more expensive stuff. So that day we were shopping in BB. And I walked out with the coat I was wearing. I was like, I'm going to wear this out. And here comes Diddy with Cam. And he's like, oh, you got that from here? So we go to the club that night and she's wearing my coat. I was like,
So
well, you
you were
could
an
have at least.
inspiration.
Yeah,
You were an inspiration.
we were inspiring things without even knowing it. Like whole outfits, hairstyles.
You
Pretty
just reminded me of a fashion moment with Puff. I had a friend who used to have the Versace sample sales
mm,
right there. I think it was, gosh,
that's very iconic.
somewhere in Midtown, and we would go in, and this was when Versace was at his highest, like epic. And I went in there, and I think I had called Puff or something, and he was like, um, "I want to come in and get some outfits." And he did all this shopping, and he bought me a few outfits, but then he also bought, is it Nisa? His baby mother some
Misa.
outfits, Misa. And I wasn't even upset about it because I had my bags of clothes, but I was just like, if it was another bitch, she would be having a problem with it. But I'm like, hey, to me, relationships were always about honesty. And it was never, you're my girl. This is all about us. It was, hey, you want to go out? You want to hang out? You want to have fun? You treated me with respect. We had good times. We went to eat. We hung out here, hung out there. We at one point went to Trinidad together. We went on vacation.
I
And
remember that with Wolf.
yeah, Wolf. Oh, rest in peace, Wolf. He was wonderful. So I remember getting a bag of clothes, and this is a bag of clothes for Nisa. And
I
they
remember this.
weren't together at the time. So it wasn't like I was disrespecting her. They had broken up, but she was his child's mom, and she is, and I guess he wanted to do right by her by buying her that fashion. But um that's my fashion
Yeah, I
story with
remember
Puff.
your outfits. You kind of that was the same year that we went to Cancun because you wore some of your bathing suits. He purchased that stuff for you, and then a couple of weeks later, we were in Cancun. I remember that
Oh, Cancun was so much
because I
fun.
don't think you
I mean, he
remember
had a
that.
boat ride.
And
I had Dolce& and Gabbana outfits.
mhm,
I was also dating a kingpin, which is another story, so I had
there was
just the
so many
nicest clothing on, and I'm not bigging that up, let's make that clear. And I just
not a
great
kingpin.
clothes, great time. I mean, I remember in Cancun, Puff, used to rent, like, the presidential suite at the Ritz-Carlton. Do you remember that? It
Mhm.
was
I don't
gorgeous.
remember that,
It
but
was maybe that's a year that I went
the
without you.
Ritz Carlton was on
In
what street?
Cancun. Not sure in Cancun, he
Oh,
would
you
rent
mean
the
like the
presidential
Cancun
suite.
hotel?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
And it was just gorgeous, and I think it had a piano, and it was white, and then all of us would be up there having fun, and everybody who was anybody was there. There were a lot of fun times, and then, you go back home to New York, and as I talked about, New York was a crazy place at that time. We had Giuliani, who was nothing short of racist. We had David Dinkins, who did a lot for New York. If we can talk politics, crime went down, I believe, under Giuliani, but people forget that David Dinkins hired more police officers than like in the history of New York. I don't remember the number, but the number of police officers that were hired under David Dinkins and then went into the streets, and then Giuliani comes, and it's a different environment with so many more police officers, and then takes all the credit for it. So, I mean, we had the riots
Giuliani took the
in
credit
Crown
for that?
Heights, the Crown Heights riots. Yeah.
Wow.
Giuliani took, he I'm not gonna say he did nothing about crime, but I am saying that he was always disrespectful to David Dinkins, and he never acknowledged that the police force that he had that empowered him to lower crime was a lot hired by Mayor Dinkins. And those are facts. Those are
Mm,
facts you can Google.
okay.
How many police officers did David Dinkins hire? So New York was wild. Um,
Yeah, it was definitely some wild times. I want to tap into something that you did not say in the beginning. Didn't Diddy pay for all of us to go to his birthday party that weekend?
I don't remember that. I don't know.
Because I don't remember paying for anything.
We
I'm
flew
just
to
gonna
Atlanta.
say, not well,
I don't
Cancun.
know. I don't remember him being exceptionally generous, so
I'm
I don't
talking
know if
about
I
his
could
birthday
co-sign
weekend,
that
not
one.
Cancun. The birthday weekend in Atlanta.
I don't honestly, I don't remember, but I mean, there were just so many fun times. I mean, he rented out what Cipriani's and the Fairmount in Manhattan. I mean, just club after club. I mean, his birthday was it October or November? It was epic. Everyone knew it's that time of the year. It's Puffy's birthday. Let's
November
get on the
4th.
list. Let's get fly. Let's go. And it was the
Yeah,
Plaza. The Plaza is what I was looking for, which is now
he
Fairmont.
was the
He had
party king. He had the
yes.
best parties,
Even the Hamptons. I went to a Hamptons
the
party.
best white
I didn't
parties.
see all that craziness. I went, I had on my white outfit, I did my two-step, I had my drinks, I had fun, and it was just a great epic time. You said you've gone to one of his,
I
Hamptons
went
parties as well, right? We didn't go
I went to a
together.
couple of parties in the Hamptons.
I went to one.
And again, we're in 2025 and what we know now, like of all the things that have been said in the news recently with the parties and supposedly what was going on behind the scenes, like the after party stuff, I never saw any of that. I was
I
never
never saw that. I
exposed to
wasn't
anything that made me feel like, oh, what's about to happen now? I never saw any of that.
yeah.
What I saw was you would walk into a one of my favorite Hamptons party was a white party, 4th of July white party. I had a girlfriend at the time, Capricorn. She was one of his assistants. By the way, I am responsible for two of Diddy's assistants, actually. I
I'm not sure if that's good after Capricorn was on
I'm
trial anymore.
it's
You might
okay.
not like that one.
It's all good, but it
'Cause
is
she
true.
came
It's a
after
true
him.
story. It's a true story. I'm responsible for two of them. Farnsworth Bentley. I have that story, and then Capricorn. Yeah, I'm responsible for two of his assistants. Yep. So, anyways, I went to a white party in the Hamptons. I wish that you would have been with me to one of these white parties. Where were you?
I got into a relationship, so I kinda wiggled my
Okay.
way out of,
Because I'm trying to
the
figure out why
fast
you
life
wasn't
and was
there.
booed up somewhere.
Yeah. Just to describe a little bit of it, it was always very upper. Like you're in the first of all, we're in the Hamptons. It's upper echelons, everything. Diddy's house. He would have it at his house, and you got to experience that. You're around his friends, his family. I have memories of dancing with, designers like Donna Karan would be there, the Tommy Hilfigers. Whoever was a hot designer at the time and they had a house in the Hampton, they were at those parties. Anyone that was really
Facts.
wealthy,
Anyone who was anyone wanted to be at his
anybody
party.
that was really wealthy at the time, they were there. I might not remember every celebrity or person,
Right.
but it would be overwhelmingly incredible because you're walking around mixing
Yeah, and I had
with
a girlfriend
people that is
who
not easy to be around these people on a day-to-day basis. This is your moment. So if you ever wanted to meet someone and make a connection, the Diddy's parties for me was about connecting with that person you wanted to meet and you could take your if you're doing a business at the time, it was the best opportunity. It was very elevated opportunist not opportunistic things, but like for opportunities to make your dreams come true. I feel like that's what those environments felt like
okay.
at that
Well,
time.
for me, it was just having some drinks, hanging out, having fun, laughing, and I had a girlfriend who always rented homes in the Hamptons, so I would always have a place at night, whenever I was out there. So I know at the beginning of the podcast, I mentioned politics and my working on Capitol Hill and how passionate I am about what's going on. I am very concerned about the direction of this country and just want to use this platform to also enlighten people on what's going on. I'd like to go into Bad Bunny, so hopefully people can walk away with a broader perspective and see what's going on. So first, I'll start by thanking Jay Z for not succumbing to the pressure that he's gotten in removing Bad Bunny and putting someone else there. So a lot of you may not know who Bad Bunny is. So let me clarify it for you. I've seen him in concert in DC and I've seen him in Puerto Rico. He had one of the highest grossing tours in US history. When you review the most streamed artists in the world on platforms like Spotify, you find Bad Bunny, Taylor Swift, The Weeknd, Drake. So he's up there with the best of them. And if you Taylor Swift has stated that she does not want to do the Super Bowl because her fiance is in the NFL. Drake, I believe he turned it down. I'm not even sure. The Weeknd already did the Super Bowl. So Bad Bunny is a legitimate artist, an American artist, a Puerto Rican artist who is set to do the Super Bowl. Now, the NFL is expanding internationally. They have games now in London, Munich, Sao Paulo, Madrid, and Mexico City. There are 39 million Latinos that are NFL fans. So for there to be so much outrage over an American citizen, seems to be no pride. Hey, look how great he is. Look how, he's winning over South America and Central America, and instead it's hate. So here's my pushback because this shit really pisses me off. Puerto Ricans served this country. World War I, 18,000. World War II, 65,000. Korean War, 61,000. Vietnam, 48,000. Gulf War, 10,000. There's been a lot of Puerto Rican blood shed for the United States. So it's too fucking hard for you during a Super Bowl game to just take 10, 15 minutes to hear an American artist perform because you don't know the words. Since when do people listen to the Super Bowl and know all the words to the songs? The beat is what matters. When Shakira or J-Lo got on, did you know every word to every song? Because that's what I'm hearing. Well, he doesn't sing in English. You dance, you move your butt for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and you move on. Because the United States didn't care about not speaking Spanish when they were drafting Puerto Ricans. They did not care when they were taking my second cousin, Cookie, from high school at 18 years old and sticking him on a plane and sending him to Vietnam, which he still hasn't fully recovered from. I have a second cousin who has PTSD and all kinds of issues, Agent Orange issues. So when I hear people go on and on about, oh, Bad Bunny doesn't speak English, pipe the fuck down. It really gets me angry because they didn't care then that Puerto Ricans didn't speak English when they were drafting them to these wars. Spanish speakers were wounded and killed. And I promise you, their last words on the battlefields were in Spanish, their obituaries were in Spanish, and their gravestones are in Spanish. So I think a halftime show for 15 minutes is too much for you to handle because they don't speak English. It just really gets me extremely angry. Jeanette, what do you think about this?
Well, I don't have a lot of knowledge on the topic, but I recently discovered Bad Bunny and I really like him a lot. And I don't even know all the words to his music. So if I was at the Super Bowl and I'm watching him perform, I would really enjoy the entire show.
You just have fun with it.
Yeah, like it doesn't make
It's so
sense to make such a big
disrespectful.
deal
Oh,
about
he doesn't speak English, so we're gonna have our own show. How disrespectful is it that people are going to watch a Super Bowl and then it's okay, the Spanish man is on. Let's change the channel and let's go listen to someone
That's
else
crazy.
who sells out like a beer hall when you have someone who sold out shows, 30 shows in Puerto Rico. And then we have the president saying, it's absolutely ridiculous for him to be on. Where's the pride that we have an American on there on the stage who's global?
Right.
So
I
that's
thought
my opinion on that.
Puerto Rico is part of the United States, right?
It is. He's an American.
So how is that even a thing? I'm confused.
Well, the other issue they have is because he decided not to tour in the United States recently since Trump has been president.
Does
And
that
for
have
a
to
good
do with
reason.
I'm
He
sorry,
he
go
de
ahead.
he decided not to tour because he's concerned that ICE agents will be outside of these concerts grabbing people, right?
Mm.
Warrants are no longer, needed. Habeas corpus, none of that matters anymore. You just get grabbed for looking black or brown,
I really
looking like an immigrant. So he's concerned, rightfully so. Who wants to have a concert and know that people who love you, who save their money, who come to the concert are going to step outside of the arena and get grabbed? So he limited his concerts to Puerto Rico right now and other places. And I don't see why that would be anything less than common sense. And then Christy Noem's latest comment, oh, we're going to have um, ICE agents outside. What planet does she live on that illegal immigrants, are paying 5,000 and up for a Super Bowl ticket, that they're going to be at the Super Bowl? So it's going to be a good use of American resources to have ICE agents outside of the Super Bowl. Have you ever heard of anything so ridiculous? It just alarms me.
that sounds ridiculous for sure.
Well, I've had an amazing time. I'm glad I finally did this podcast, my first episode, many more to come, many more interesting stories from hip hop legends to NBA legends. I mean, across the board, we have so much more to share. Uh, Jet, did you have a good time?
Oh my God. I had a really first of all, I was a little nervous. You talked me into this. I was like, you know what? Okay, let's do it. This was really, really amazing, Allison. I am looking forward to more episodes of more conversations.
So, where
This
can we
is really
find
good.
you?
You can find my Instagram is at Jet Dilone, JetDilone, Jet Dilone. That's where you can find me.
Please subscribe from the Tunnel to the Hill podcast on all platforms. Please tell your friends, neighbors, your abuela, everyone and anyone you know so we can grow this show and I can bring you great content. Thank you.